Hey everybody, this is the Ghost Ship Warehouse Fire for our group case study slash presentation. And everybody that worked on this presentation here would be Luke Bisbal, Edwin Camara, Colin Ungesser, and Craig Perry. So let's get on with it. Here's a little bit of background of what the Ghost Ship Firehouse was. The deadly ghost ship fire in Oakland, California took place on a late night on the 2nd of December, 2016. It was the deadliest fire in California since the fire in 1906. The structure itself was built in 1930 and was primarily a concrete build, built with steel trusses and a total of 2 stories. The once warehouse then transformed into an entertainment club in 2016 under new ownership. And with the new building purpose, different codes would need to be addressed and imposed, which unfortunately they were not. Almena, which was the new building owner, made no application to the city of Oakland for his collective and living space. No change of use permit, no residential dwelling permit, no construction permit, no occupancy permit, no electrical permit, no entertainment permit, no permits whatsoever. With this lack of appropriate checks and balances for the new building purpose, the building structure would be at risk, especially from fire. As you can see, here's a little bit of picture. The image depicted shows the purpose of the conversion of the building structure. Just to give some visual effects here, we'll move on to the building and inspections. So as mentioned above, the new owner had changed the purpose of the structure from a warehouse to an entertainment and living space, but had no records shown that were necessary building inspections required after the conversion, such as checking adequate exits, fire sprinklers, and hazardous materials. How a building is used determines its occupancy classification and the specific safety codes that apply. Use dictates construction type, building materials, and fixed fire protection features. Changing the use of a building, for example when ownership changes, should trigger a review by building and fire code officials of the authority having jurisdiction. That was by Hensler. The building also lacked sprinklers and fire alarms and had only 2 exits. The main access to the second floor event space was a very narrow makeshift staircase consisting of stacked wooden pallets that was consumed obviously by the fire. End quote. And with the mix of apathy and lack of responsibility on behalf of the new owner concerning occupation limits, inadequate means of exit points, building code violations, and just overall poor fire suppression systems, the structure unfortunately was doomed for failure from the start. Moving on. So as you can see here, there's a lot of pictures to show the visual of the layout of the building here. As you can see on the left, there's some schematics in this area when it comes to the lower part and the higher part. As you can see, this was the front stairway here. You can see the side entrance down here. And as I mentioned before, this is the first floor, and this is the second floor. Just separated to visually appease the audience and just let you know what's going on. This right here was an interior of the second floor. So these two are correlated here, and then down here would be the first floor. And this is the main entrance. Just to give some visual effects, and we can move on. When it comes to the electrical system and construction. So the Assistant Fire Marshal Maria Sabatini said there were a tremendous amount of items that were electrical in nature, such as cooking materials, extension cords, and 2 refrigerators. End quote. Sabatini also said there was an excessive amount of flammable materials in live workspaces throughout the first floor as well, at the warehouse, which is where investigators think the fire started or originated. Investigators determined that the fire began on the first floor in the northwest corner of the warehouse. Many described the layout as a maze or labyrinth, and return made it difficult to get around the warehouse. This is the fire and roof collapse. The fire spread extremely quickly, as you can imagine, and generated heavy, deadly smoke. The palace stairway was reported as the building's only stairs. Once the palace stairs caught fire, it would instantly be incinerated. Anyone on the second floor who may have still been alive could not get down, ultimately leaving them trapped on the second floor. The fire began blow-torching out the roof, and the second floor collapsed, and the wood-clad steel beam roof collapsed as well. It took 52 firefighters and using 15 pieces of firefighting apparatus. The report confirmed that all victims had died of smoke inhalation, which is the most common cause of fire fatality. This is the investigative conclusion. Overall, the criminal investigation, Derek Almina and Max Harris were charged with 36 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Almina was sentenced to 12 years in prison, and Harris was acquitted on all 36 accounts. He was released from jail. The city of Oakland settled a civil lawsuit of $24 million to the families of the 36 who perished in the fire. Rest in peace. Just to give some perspective and a list of people, these are all the names of the unfortunate fatalities within the fire. As you can see, the list goes on. And then we moved on. And we keep going. Unfortunately, it keeps going. Keeps going as well. And to give more of a visual, appealing effect here to the unfortunate lives that were lost in this fire, these are just like photos and portraits of the unfortunate citizens that lost their lives that day. Just remembering the ghost ship fire victims. And that would be the pictures there. And then ending the slide here, these will be the sources we used. And they all are in row, and you're able to click them as well. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I hope you learned something, and we can move on to our other fire science classes and further our career. Thanks, guys. Peace.